Alright, welcome back to P. Rogers Outdoors. What I'm going to do this little short video on is I want to paint this rifle. The owner of this rifle has asked me to paint the stock in camouflage, and so I'm going to do that. Going to sand it down a little bit and prepare it, and then paint it camouflage, and we're going to go through all those different steps. But the first step in doing this is taking the stock off of the action. This particular gun has a drop-away magazine, as you can see here. So there's actually 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3 bolts that hold it on. Most of the time it's just 2. So we're going to take this stock off the action and get it ready to paint. Put my glasses on here so I can see. And one of the things that we're going to go over when we put it back together is the importance of torquing your screws. It's very, very important that all these screws are torqued to the proper poundage if you want your gun to be as accurate as it can be. So that just removes the trigger guards, those 2 screws. And what I like to do is just put everything together. That way you don't have to worry about losing them. This one here should just hold in the, hope you can see that. My lighting is not real good out here in the shop. Alright, so that takes out the drop-away magazine. Put those screwed together, and it should just pop right out of there right now. That's all it is to it. Okay, so we're going to set this aside, and we're going to get to work on the stock. Alright, so just stay with me. I'll put this stuff away over here. Right now I want to take off these sling studs on both ends. This one here is a little snug. See if we can get it off right there. Alright, whoops, got those off. Take the butt stock off, or the butt pad off, shoulder pad, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to take that off, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. Welcome back to P. Rogers Outdoors. I'm going to do a video today on painting a gun stock. The owner of this gun asked me to paint it for him. It comes off of a Winchester Model 270, and I'm doing it inside because we have got major windstorms outside. So, but anyway, I hope the lighting's okay. It's just your standard center fire action stock, bolt action, drop away magazine. So, but what I use to do this is very simple. I got a sander here. I'm going to use that to sand the stock down, just to knock off the varnish that's on it so the paint will stick better. I use different kinds of sandpaper, 220 down to 150. I don't get it super smooth. It's smooth enough for what we're doing for it. And I like this this Rust-Oleum camouflage paint. These are the colors. It comes in a little kit. So you have olive, you have a little bit lighter olive, black, and tan, and I will use those to camouflage the gun. I really don't have a pattern, just kind of do it on a whim and see how it turns out. Done several for people, they really like it, so I'm going to do this one for them. So if you stay with me, I'm going to sand everything down, and I'm not going to show you sanding. You know how to sand stuff, so I'm just going to use the sander, sand it down, and then once I get it sanded down and wiped off and all the dust settles, then we'll be ready to paint, and we'll come back and cover that in more detail. And so what we got going here is I've sanded the stock down, I've wiped it off clean, I've taped up areas I don't want paint to get in, and I've gone and I've cut me some bamboo. I have some bamboo growing on my property, so I went and cut some tips off the bamboo. I went and got some hay out of the pasture, and so you can use anything that you have laying around. I really like the grass, I really like the hay, I like some leaves in there too, and these are just, they're just pretty basic leaves. There's nothing fancy about them that'll break it up, and we'll do that in a minute. But the most important part, I think, is your base coat. And you have to ask yourself right from the beginning, what color do I want this to be? Do I want it to be dark? Do I want it to be light? Do I want it to be in between, or what? So the gentleman I'm painting this for wants it to be dark in color. So I'm going to use this dark olive base coat, the dark olive. Let's see if there's all it says is cap indicates color. So I'm going to call that dark olive, and this would be a light olive, black, and tan. So I'm going to start with this. I'll paint the whole thing this color, and then we'll let that dry, and then we'll start putting in the patterns to it. Okay, so let me get this going, and show you how to do it. You want these little short bursts at a distance. Don't get too close, because it'll run. All right. See how I'm doing that? Now I'm just going to kind of hold it and let it dry. I should have just done one side at a time, but what do you do? You get the video and forget everything you're supposed to do. All right, so there's my base coat. All right, so I'm going to let that dry. All right, it's been about 10 minutes. It's dry now. I got the camera a lot closer so I can show you what I'm doing here. So now what we want to do, we have a good solid base coat on here. So now what I want to do is I want to put some pattern on it. So just to show you what we're talking about here, and this is one of the great things about painting, is that I'm going to take the light green, the light olive drab, shake it up a little bit, and what I like to do, there is no rhyme or reason to it. There's no pattern or anything, but you just lightly mist it. Well, there goes the wind. And it starts to leave a pattern. All right, now if you don't like that, you come over here with your grass. See how the grass does? And what it's doing is just breaking up the outline. Okay? You think, well, Yeah, Pete, but what does that mean? All right, well, just stay with me here. All right, and make sure you can see that. You can't. So let's get over here. I'll move it down a little bit. Is that better? Yeah, it should be. So I'm gonna grab some grass, some hay rather. All right, and you just want it kind of as a haphazard, and it leaves a broken pattern on there. See that? Hold it up. All right, so but we're not done, right? We're not done. You know, I didn't like how these leaves turned out over here on this end, so I'm going to put the grass on it, or the hay. Then we come back with some tan. Look at that. Right? You don't want your grass too thick. Kind of what I'm getting here. Right? Now here's the glory of painting your stock. See, that is a lot lighter than what I wanted it to be. Can you see that? Yeah. So, what you can do, this is one of the great things, is you come right back with your base coat, the dark olive, right? Come right back over it. Look at that. See there? See what it's doing? Right? I'm liking that. You want some leaves? Now, we hadn't even gotten to the shadows yet, the black, right? And I use the black sparingly. We already have a lot on there from the going back with the darker. See what it's doing there? Look at that. Adding that little bit of shadow. Need a little bit up here. Go back to my grass. Or my straw, my hay rather. Put a little bit right here. Not much. Now the one thing about the black, it goes on shiny, but then it dries dull. So at first it's like, ooh, that's too much. And then you come back and look at it and realize, oh no, that's not bad at all. So that's our rough draft right there. Let that dry. You see that pretty good? Let's see. See? See that? So there. That's our now here's how I'm going to show you the difference. That's the side that we just camouflaged. This is the base coat side. So see, this is the base coat, and this is the rough draft camouflage side. All right. So, if you remember, I really didn't like the way this side turned out. So I went back with another base coat, but I'm going to try something different on this side. That's one of the great things about this. Here's the first side we did. Let's make sure you can see that. Turns out pretty good. I'll go outside and get a shot in the sun when we get done here. But this is the first side we did. Alright, and now I'm going to do this side. But on this side, I decided to go, instead of with the dark olive base, I went with the light olive base. And now we're going to use our hay again. Alright, just going to grab some hay. Don't get too much. And I'm going to use the dark olive first. And start putting a pattern on it. See how good that looks? You see that? And what I'm doing now is I actually have the paint can a pretty far away, so we're just misting it. If you get closer, see, it makes it darker. Further away, it's a light mist of the pattern, which I personally like better. Alright, now I'm going to give just a little bit of light tan. Right? Just a little bit. The guy that's having me do this for him didn't want a lot of tan on it, so I'm just going to give a little bit of tan. Gotta get some more grass, hay, rather. Get a bunch of hay like this. Alright? And I'm going to give just some dusting of tan on it. Just a dusting. See that? See how it lightens it up just a little bit? Now you may be thinking, well, that's just too light. But hey, now I'm getting ready to come in here with the shadows of black. Alright, I'm running out of hay that hasn't been painted, so I'm going to grab the black that I painted before. Just use the same stuff I painted before with the black. And the black, all it does is give shadows. Alright? Look at that. And remember, it dries lighter than it goes on. It goes on kind of dark and shiny. And you just kind of move it around. Just do, you know, there, like I said before, there is no right or wrong way to do it. Just do it a way in which you like it. So we're gonna let that dry. That looks pretty good. I gotta get the top. So I'm gonna prop the stock up. Prop the stock up right there. I'm gonna come with the dark olive. I already got that on there. Let's go with the black. Right on the top. See that? I hope you can see that. Really need me a cameraman. We're gonna let that dry. Shouldn't take long. Let me take this off real quick and move the camera around so you can see. Now, like I said, those dark black spots that you see there, those are going to fade because it's just wet right now. and it'll turn into a lot lighter color. So just for kicks and giggles, I'm going to turn it around and show this side that has already dried. And see how that looks? I hope that's in focus. My eyes are so bad I can't tell if it's in focus or not. Alright, so let's turn it back around. And here's the thing, if you end up, like I'm sitting here thinking that spot right there may be a bit much, you know what? All I have to do is come right back with a little bit of some more grass and some of the light olive, I guess it's called, and just hit it again. That's all I got to do. That's what I love about this, is that if you don't like how it turns out, just paint it again. So I'm going to get just a little bit of hay and this light olive, and I'm going to mist it. That's all it took. Do you see how that changed it? Is that not amazing? Same thing here. A little bit, a little bit. Put a little bit there on that pistol grip. Little bit right here. Like that. Have to forgive me the wind noise. I can't do anything about that. So I just brought it outside so you can see it in the sun. This is the side we just painted. This is the other side. Make sure you can see that right there. Alright, so that's the first side we did, and this is the second side we did.